Welcome to Studio D on the campus of the University of Oklahoma. This is Sooner Sports Pad. And now, your host, Chloe Sparks.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sooner Sports Pad. I'm your host, Chloe Sparks. Standing next to me are our analysts, Lindsay Gibbs and Parker Thune. Guys, there is a big game going down this weekend. It is Bedlam. OU has beat OSU 13 of their last 15 matchups. And actually, the last time they left empty-handed was in 2014. I can't imagine the amount of pressure that Spencer Rattler must be facing heading into this weekend. Before him, it was Jalen Hurts. Now, Hurts had a multitude of Alabama rivalry experience going into last year's Bedlam, and it showed when he not only passed for 163 yards, but ran in a touchdown and even caught one on a Sooner special. And before him was a pair of Heisman winners. Let's talk about Kyler Murray. On Owen Field, he ran for 66 yards and threw for 349 more, including a 51-yarder to Mr. Hollywood Brown in a 48-47 Sooner victory. And even before that, it was Baker Mayfield cementing his Heisman in Lincoln Riley's first Bedlam win. This one was a serious shootout. Baker threw for 598 yards, plus a couple bombs to Hollywood. Let's hope young Spencer has been taking notes, especially this year when it seems like OSU might actually be considered a threat. What unit do you guys think needs to put in the extra work to take this game this weekend?
All right, Chloe, the unit I think that needs to be on their A game is the secondary. We've struggled with our defensive backs in the past, but we know what they're capable of with up-and-comer Woody Washington. The freshman from Tennessee had some major plays like this one in the game against Texas. We've also seen junior Trey Norwood with some amazing interceptions like the one in this game against Texas Tech. I mean, Parnell Motley left some big shoes to fill, but if Jaden Davis can bring his A game and our secondaries can really get it together, we can expect a Sooner win this weekend.
Yeah, Lindsay, you know, the Sooner defense has been much improved over the last month or so. However, Oklahoma State brings what is statistically the Big 12's best defense into this contest. And I think the key to picking apart that Pokes defensive front is going to be opening up space underneath for what I believe is the Sooners' strongest position group. They're absolutely loaded at the H-back position. Think about Mikey Henderson, who's one of the best freshmen in the Big 12. He's fourth on this depth chart. That's how good they are. Jeremiah Hall is second on the team with 4 touchdown receptions on the year. Braden Willis could be the X factor in this game. He's only been active for 1 game this year. He sat out the first couple contests due to COVID-19. He's dealt with injuries. And Austin Stogger, man, what a weapon that guy has been. As a sophomore, he's big, he's fast, he's often the guy that Spencer Rattler looks to in third down situations. Make no mistake, folks, the H-backs are the group that can help Oklahoma break this game open on Saturday.
You've heard our stance on this Bedlam game. Now let's take it to the players and coaches themselves to hear what they have to say.
Andy's more, he's gonna coach you harder, you know, and that kind of helped me even just learn the playbook even more, you know, like me moving those 2 positions. I know what pretty much everybody has on the field, and that's another plus for me because maybe I could be used different in this offense.
Definitely, there was definitely some good ones back when we scored last minute with, I think, touchdown to Jalen Saunders it was, from Blake Bell threw a touchdown to him to win up in Stillwater that one year. That was a great game. Shoot, I remember a bad memory when Tyreek Hill returned a touchdown to win the game. I remember that one. Shoot, I remember them all.
Let's start bringing in the good energy with talking about our favorite Bedlam memories. I'm taking it back to the one Stoops just mentioned in 2013 when Blake Bell took a timeout from his tight end duties to play a little bit of QB. With 20 seconds left, Bell finds Jalen Saunders in the end zone. And with that, the Sooners were able to steal the lead from the Cowboys. Finding him right there in the corner has to go down as one of the most recent nail-biters in Bedlam history. Oklahoma even went back for more in the final seconds of this game. The final score of this Bedlam game ended up being 33-24. That was mainly in the final seconds, and now Blake Bell is a Cowboy himself in the NFL. He's playing tight end. What's your favorite Bedlam memory?
My top Bedlam moment was the year right before yours in 2012 with a jaw-dropping TD. Take a look at this. The Sooners came back, forcing it into overtime on a fourth down play, and Brennan Clay secured the dub for the Sooners with an 18-yard touchdown, tumbling into the end zone. This was the first time a Bedlam game has ever gone into overtime, and fans loved every second of it, especially as it secured an OU win.
That was a big one, especially on the heels of a very convincing Oklahoma State victory in the 2011 Bedlam game. So that was huge for the Sooners to get on track in this rivalry. Now, you got to be a certain age to recall this one that I'm going to throw at you. Many will recall that the Sooners' last national championship came in 2000. A full 2 decades ago. What a lot of people don't remember is that in that undefeated season for the Sooners, one of their biggest challenges came from an Oklahoma State team that entered that game 3-7. However, Oklahoma managed to escape with a victory with a play that went down in Sooner lore as the straight swat. Let's take you back to Stillwater on that fateful evening. Oklahoma leading late 12-7, and Derek Strait, who was a freshman at the time, all 5'11" of him, extends to deflect that pass intended for 6'4" tight end Marcellus Rivers to preserve the Sooners' victory and ultimately preserve their hopes of a national championship. Of course, the Sooners will go on to defeat Florida State 13-2 in the national championship game. And folks, if Derek Strait doesn't make that play, right now here in 2020, you're looking at a 35-year title gap for the Oklahoma Sooners. So that play was as big as any play in Sooner history, at least since the turn of the century.
Went even in the archives for that one.
You're going to want to stick around for more because up next we're hearing from women's basketball. Gabby Gregory when we return.
Thank you to our Cornerstone Television partners, OU Health, Anheuser-Busch, and the OU College of Professional and Continuing Studies, and our community partners, Landers Auto Group, Coca-Cola, and OU Health.
Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pat. Thanks for being with us again. Guys, Lindsay talked with men's basketball last week, so now we want to divvy it up, bring women's basketball over here. Sooner Sports Pads, Kemper Ball took it to the courts with Gabby Gregory.
All right, thank you guys. Tonight we are joined by OU women's basketball player Gabby Gregory. Gabby, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So you guys have the season coming up, but first let's talk about the off season. It was an unusual off season for everyone. How was it for you?
It was really crazy just being at home for that long, but I mean, I really enjoyed my time with my family.
Did you have any difficulty working on your game, getting into a gym?
Yes, it was pretty tough to find gyms. Had to even shoot outside sometimes, which I hadn't done since I was probably in middle school, so that was pretty weird. But I mean, I still got in the gym, still got to work on my game.
Good. What specifically were you working on to improve this season? You were one of the best freshmen in the conference last year. You averaged 12 points a game. What were you working on to get better?
Really just consistent in my three-point shot and working on my ball handling, and then more than anything, probably just like watching film and like seeing how I can further develop my game.
So you're born and raised an OU fan, like a lot of us. What does it mean to you to now represent the university and get to play for them every season?
I mean, it's really just been a dream of mine ever since I was little to play at OU. So just to take advantage of that and just play every game. I love playing for Sherry Cole. I've always looked up to her since I was a little kid. So it's really cool to just live out my dream.
All right, you guys get started on November 25th against Houston. What are you looking forward to in that game?
I'm just really looking forward to play against somebody else and practice every day. We don't get our practice boys like we have, all the other years. So we're really just going against each other. So I'm really excited to go against some new competition.
All right, that is all the time we have tonight. Thank you so much to Gabby Gregory for joining us. Back to you guys in the studio.
There's been a lot going on this year with the pandemic. There were sports and then there weren't sports, but there is college football and there was an election, and this OU football team definitely took a part in it. Let's take a look.
The 2020 presidential election brought votes and recounts. And with the Sooners' recent history of activism, voting was a focus.
Our guys want to be heard, and they've wanted to make a difference, and so it certainly is important. And I think for our guys, I mean, regardless of the results of this thing, just the fact that we've been, you know, as active as we've been, our guys have done it with such class. Our guys have, I think, helped educate other people. I know, you know, the majority of our guys, you know, if you were to take a poll of how many players on our football team voted in the last presidential election versus this one, it's probably going to look a lot different. So it shows guys have gotten educated and really, you know, this matter's really meant something to them, and I've been proud of the way they've handled it, and excited for them to all have that opportunity today.
Even though voting in the election was a big focus for the Sooners, they also had to focus on football and their upcoming game against Kansas.
Our guys are pretty locked in to getting, getting ready for the game, but it's been a deal of wanting one person to win or the other. There's never been one bit of talk of that within this team. It has just simply been, you know, let's understand you're right. Let's educate ourselves so that we can, you know, be a good, productive member of society and be able to voice our opinions. And that's all we've ever wanted to be, and that's, as a team, that is all we've ever talked about.
Just did a really good job at, you know, giving us our time away on election day and making it an emphasis that we go vote. And just really, when we had to do football, we had to lock in. We know our opponent, and we just had to lock into Kansas and make sure we were ready to play on Saturday. So I feel like we were prepared for the election day, and then also when it's time to play football, you know, we got down to business.
I really can't say we really paid attention to it. It's pretty much all football. Once we was inside the facility and on the field, it was pretty much all football. We wasn't really focused about the election or nothing.
I think everybody kind of knows what was going on, so we didn't really talk about it team-wise. But, I mean, we're just focused on football throughout the week.
We had the day off on Tuesday to go vote, and that's what most of the team did, but then on it was just football.
The focus on football led to a 62-9 win over the Jayhawks, and the Sooners made sure they did their civic duty. Will Blessing, Sooner Sports Pad.
You won't want to miss Lindsay and Parker facing off when we return, so make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Sooner Sports Pad, everyone. It's time for Lindsay and Parker to do their last face-off of the semester. Actually, their last face-off ever. You ready?
Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
Let's do it.
First question, what bowl game do you think OU is going to wind up in?
All right, I think the Sooners are going to make it to the Fiesta Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona. The last time the Sooners went to the Fiesta Bowl was when they were matched up against UConn in 2010. The Sooners came out on top 48-20 with OU QB Landry Jones breaking a school bowl record with 429 passing yards, completing 3 passes for TD. This was also DeMarco Murray's senior season, rushing for over 1,000 yards before he was drafted into the beloved Dallas Cowboys. When you love to see it, you love to see it.
Now, Lindsay, as we all know, the Sooners ended last season on a very, very dissonant note, and I'm sure they're eager to reverse the bad juju. Now, I would submit that they need a rally unicorn, and Lincoln Riley, if you're out there watching, you can have this one. His name's Adrian. But if you don't want to go the rally unicorn route, I think the Sooners have better hope that they get another invite to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Because let's face it, last year in the Peach Bowl, the Sooners had one of their worst performances in decades. You think about all the bad moments for the Sooners over the years. The 2016 Final Four, the 2014 Russell Athletic Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl back in 2006. This might have topped them all. And the most unfortunate part was that the Sooners really couldn't have done anything about it. LSU was just that good. However, a 35-point loss in this game was not indicative of where this program was at the time, and it's definitely not indicative of where this program is at right now. And so I think the Sooners should be eager for some redemption this bowl season. And if I'm Lincoln Riley, I want to see my team play in the Peach Bowl one more time to see what we can do this time around.
If the boys are in the Peach Bowl again, I am definitely there. Which 2 teams do you think are going to face off in the national championship?
Ooh, my national championship matchup is Notre Dame and BYU. The Catholics versus the Mormons. Notre Dame is on a hot streak right now after the game against Boston College Saturday. The Fighting Irish are now ranked number 2 in the AP polls. It's a hot take, but I think Notre Dame will clinch a national championship win this season. BYU is a great team this year. I think they'll make the CFP's 4th spot if they continue their season without a blemish. They're ranked in the AP polls as a top 10 team nationally. QB Zach Wilson has been steamrolling, and it doesn't look like he's going to get off the gas with this high-speed offense anytime soon.
That's quite the holy war, Lindsay. You know what? Let's say the loser of that game gets indulgences as a consolation prize. But no, on a very serious note, I think you're going to see the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Clemson Tigers in the national championship game come January. I talked about Ohio State last week. I'll just hit the key points here. They can rush the passer very well. They've got a high-octane, up-tempo offense that can score on just about anybody. They got a Heisman candidate in Justin Fields at the helm. And then Clemson, let's be honest, if this team had Trevor Lawrence at the helm in South Bend, they would have beaten Notre Dame. Dabo Swinney is still the best coach in college football. Travis Etienne is still the best running back in college football. And this is a team that's going to avenge their loss to Notre Dame in the ACC title game, earn a berth in the college football playoff, and end up facing off with Ohio State in January. I firmly believe that.
Hey, I don't want to see any OSU win. Ohio State or Oklahoma State.
Oregon State?
Not them either.
Okay, fair enough.
For this last round, show us what you have this week for viral videos.
All right, my viral video is tough to beat. Our man's Kyler Murray in this game. I mean, he even had the Barstool president shook as his last-minute Hail Murray pass. In the last few seconds of this fourth quarter, he launches it, and it is caught in the end zone for a Cardinals dub. I mean, everyone was standing up on their feet. Look at that catch. I mean, there's no better moment than that.
It's hard to compete with an old quarterback. Parker?
That was a pretty awesome play, Lindsay. You know what else is awesome? Elephants. In fact, if we wanted to pull out my definitive wild animal power rankings, you would find elephants firmly slotted at number 7. So I want to show you the best video I saw on the internet this week. Tell me this doesn't warm your heart. So, elephants weigh upwards of 5,000 pounds. And so when an elephant loses a leg, it's not that easy for them to lead a normal life. But this elephant's caretaker made him a prosthetic leg. How wonderful is that? He's walking around just like he's got a regular leg on.
Okay, guys, now it's time for the audience to vote whether you think that the Kyler Murray card is going to win or the empathy card. So if you think it's going to be Kyler, start cheering. Kyler, Kyler, Kyler. All right, cut it, baby. If you're going with the elephant and the sign, go for Parker. And you still didn't win, Parker. Lindsay is taking the last face-off of the semester. Huge congratulations to her. Stay tuned. Up next, we have all the Sooner sports to watch for, plus the Sooner mailbag when we get back. Volleyball is hosting West Virginia on Thursday and Friday at 6. Following that is the big Bedlam game with OU football taking on Mike Gundy and his squad. And for the first time at Owen Field, this will be a night game. And guys, it's time to stop cheering because it's time to get sad. Our analysts are leaving us after this semester. Lindsay Gibbs and Parker Thune will both be walking across the stage in December. And Parker's going to be going on to grad school. Lindsay, out in the real world. Let's take it to one last Sooner mailbag for them to answer their final questions from you. We'll get the first one up there now. Lindsay, what is your best memory you've made while at OU?
Oof, that's a tough one. There's so many. I think probably waking up 6 a.m. for Game Day U every Saturday morning, cheering on our Sooner football game for our 8 to 10 a.m. pregame talk show. It took over the OU blog last year against TCU. Best moment.
That was definitely a good one. You had some good work with that OU vlog. Parker, what about you?
For me, it doesn't get any better than getting the opportunity to travel to cover the game at the Rose Bowl last year, watching OU score a decisive victory over UCLA, and getting to hang out at one of the most historic venues in college football. That was an experience I wouldn't trade for anything.
Yeah, Parker, I'm super jealous because while you were there at that game, I was on my couch watching it on the TV.
Me too.
Let's get the next question up there. Pierce wants to know, Parker, what's your favorite memory with Sooner Sports Pad?
Well, this is an easy one, Chloe. It's easily the people. And the thing about it is, you see my face on this show every Monday nights. You see Lindsay's face. You see Chloe's face. What you don't see are all the folks that work tirelessly behind the scenes to bring this show to you on a weekly basis. And that starts with our terrific engineer in charge, David Candy, senior producer, Kurt Watson, our engineering assist, Jared Thomas, producer Shannon Earhart, director Junior Prieto, and our two fantastic faculty advisors, Barry Orr and Ken Fisher. Their work is irreplaceable and it's admirable. And in a season that has brought so much chaos and so many unprecedented circumstances, it is worthy all the more of our recognition. And so to everybody behind the scenes that works on this show, thank you so much for your contributions every single week. And thank you for doing the work that no one notices on the screen, but is every bit as crucial as what we do.
We owe it all to you. Truly, we do.
Even our faithful audience out there, we love you guys. Lindsay, what's your favorite thing about Sooner Sports Pad?
Honestly, it's being in all the meetings with you guys. It's putting the show together every single Monday night. I mean, from the practice show to everything else. Even from getting pizzas last semester where I started out on PR team, like, you guys can do whatever you want to if you put your heart and soul into whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's being up here or being behind the camera. So thank you all.
We certainly will miss both of you guys dearly. A couple of my best friends right there. But I will be back next semester for the spring. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this last episode of Sooner Sports Pad. We'll miss being here every Monday night with you, but tune in again next semester. Check out all of our social media for behind-the-scenes footage at Sooner Sports Pad. For now, signing off. Good night.